Hello, everyone. My guest today is Michael Lewis. He's the founder of Stellar Semiconductor, which was sold to Broadcom in 2000, then went on to found Cryptic Studios, which was sold to Atari in 2008. For the past decade, Michael has been deeply involved in charitable efforts through the Anspar Foundation, formerly the Lewis Charitable Foundation, and now is running mycroft.ai. Michael, you ready to take us to the top?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So first off, you were not leading Mycroft when I last did my episode with Mycroft. So something changed. They pulled you out of charitable giving and back into the business from an operating perspective. How'd they do it?
That's right. To be honest, I was a backer on the Mark II Kickstarter project, and so I've been following Mycroft for a while. And when Josh reached out and was looking for some additional high-level help at the company, I took a look at it and I decided that this was a good time in my life, and Mycroft's mission merges, perfectly with the work I was doing at my foundation, and the company itself, the technology, the working with hardware, working with software, working with community. That's all in my work experience as well, and I'm really passionate about all of those things. So it was really just a perfect combination of things that got me interested.
So for those people that missed the first episode, just give us the quick keynote here. What does Mycroft do? What do people pay you for?
Right. So Mycroft makes a privacy-first open source voice assistant. So what's really important about this is that we allow the users to control their own experience. So we don't consider the users our users. We're building a community of people, and this community includes people who are developers, people who are assist us with contributing their data, and people who just want to have a privacy experience in their own home. Putting something that's always listening in your home can be a very invasive feeling experience, and we want people to feel safe and comfortable in their homes. And privacy is something that you should be able to have in your home.
So, Michael, you're selling this directly to consumers, moms and dads at homes, or is it a B2B model?
It's a bit of both, to be honest. We're a small company, and so we're starting off by direct to consumer. We're going to fulfill our latest Kickstarter, and then we'll continue to sell units direct to consumer. But I'm calling them developer kits at this point because, to be honest, the price point isn't really at the level where we could realistically mass produce them and ship them to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
But the functionality is totally there. So we want to be able to get to early adopters, and down the road, we expect to partner with OEMs to provide our assistant technology in their own devices, including smart speakers and really
so, Michael,
anything.
Sorry,
refrigerators.
I still don't understand what you're selling, right? So what are you actually selling to the consumer? I have my own house here. What are you selling to me?
Okay, so a smart speaker is basically something just like the Amazon, Home Assistant, or Google Home, or the Amazon Echo.
Got it.
Right?
So this isn't just like an SDK you're selling to me. It's a physical piece of hardware.
Yes. So initially, the Mark II is a physical piece of hardware. It embodies our software and connects to our platform. It's an off-the-shelf device that just works. Okay, and I consider it a reference device for other OEMs who want to produce devices that are like it, or that just incorporate voice technology in their own products. So while we will sell it direct to consumers, we're using this to prove out our technology, to demonstrate that it works, and to serve as a reference design for OEMs who want to come in and integrate it in with their own technology.
So what does it cost you to produce one of these pieces of hardware, one speaker?
About $100 right now.
Okay, and what do you retail it for?
That's just the hard costs. It's not set just yet, but we're not due to really ship it, I think, until the second or third quarter next year. That's, I think, our realistic timeline.
Got it. So are you guys pre-revenue today?
We're effectively pre-revenue right now. We have not tried to monetize any of our customers. We have about 50,000 people who are signed up to our system and are using our system, but we are not actively trying to monetize them yet because, quite frankly, the experience isn't where we want it to be. We're not marketing to the audience right now. We're more working with developers and people who want to add to the system and improve the system, and who are interested in integrating it in the future with their own products.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, so 50,000 people is kind of an open source-ish like platform. You have your own piece of hardware. Have you guys bootstrapped this or raised? And if you've raised, how much?
Mycroft, over the last 5 years, has raised over $5 million in crowdfunding and very favorable loans.
Mm-hmm.
But we've never raised an institutional round. So
what is a
what we're doing
favorable
right
loan?
now. Basically, it's a long-term loan with very low rates, and that's basically a balloon payment at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what would you consider low? Are you talking like 5 or 6%?
Yeah, exactly.
And how does a bank get comfortable loaning to you when you're pre-revenue? What are they loaning against? What's the collateral?
It's these actually weren't from banks. One of them was actually from a previous investment deal that kind of went sour before I got involved. And as a compromise, they agreed to convert the part of the investment that had been made into a loan rather than keeping it as equity. Another big part of loan is actually from my own foundation, because Mycroft's mission so closely matches what my foundation is interested in. I was able to convince the board of directors to make a sizable investment in Mycroft purely because of the mission.
So how much of the $5 million raised has been debt that has to be paid back?
Offhand, it's a little under $2 million.
Okay, got it. So nice mix here. Now, you guys have also a lot of investors, right? According to Crunchbase, you guys have 47 investors that have put in the $5 million. Your cap table must be a wreck.
It's more exciting than that. We have over 1,500 investors because we went through a crowdfunding campaign a couple years back.
So how do you manage that? Is your cap table literally 1,600 people on it?
Yep. Basically, we are very forthcoming with our investors. We put out a monthly newsletter, try to keep them informed as to what's going on. We've never had any problems to date. It's really about being transparent with what's going on in the company and setting the proper expectations.
So for example, how much are you trying to raise right now, institutional?
Our target's $5 million.
Okay. One of the things that obviously any institutional is going to come in and look at is the current cap table, and is there any risk? And one of the risks they'll look at is, well, if just one of these 1,600 investors holds out on some decision, it could tank the whole company, essentially. How do you convince the VC that you potentially work with on this new round that that's not a risk?
Well, there's a couple of ways. First of all, we have two classes of shares. We have voting shares and non-voting shares. So the cohort of the crowdfunding investors are all non-voting shares. So that's one issue. Secondly, as I said, we keep our investors happy, but there are ways around this. We may have to do some creative corporate restructuring, in the same way that maybe an angel fund creates a sort of company that serves all of its investors. We may end up creating a sub entity that encapsulates the crowdfunding investors, and to simplify the cap table at the top level. That's just one idea. So.
How do you, this is sort of a direct question, but why are your investors happy? Your first seed round was back in February of 2016 with Techstars and Star Power Partners, about $400,000 raised. Here we are 4 years, I need product crowdfunding even earlier than that in 2015. Here we are 4 or 5 years later, and you still, there's nothing's been shipped. You're pre-revenue. These guys can't be happy.
It depends on why you get into this, right? A lot of people have, in fact, most of the investors that we have today have gotten involved with Mycroft because they believe in the mission. They believe in what we're trying to do. And experienced investors like Techstars know that startups they can encounter stumbling blocks, right? I've been fortunate to avoid some of these in my previous companies, and I've full on run right into them in others. And hitting just one stumbling block can kill a startup, right? Hitting two at the same time, can be, an instant death blow. But Mycroft has persisted because the investors, there are just so many people who are who want what we want, right? Who want a privacy respecting voice assistant, because the idea of having, of not even having the option to not allow tech into your home is just crazy to them. So so we've been able to find people who continue to support our mission, to date, to keep the company moving forward. To be honest, though, that's actually been one of the pitfalls that the company's run into in the past. With this constant cycle of fundraising, it's been hard to focus on product development. And so that's one of the things that I came in to help solve. So for the past year, I've basically been bankrolling the company personally myself. And
did you buy the company basically? I mean, you started as an investor. Did you basically come in and buy the company?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Nope. I came in as an investor. I came in, basically I'm, Josh and I are peers. We work hand in hand. Josh is a great guy. He's got a great understanding of the market and the technology, and I want him around, right? So we work hand in hand on this. I'm bringing my product development experience, and he's bringing his his deep understanding of the market and the technology. And my main purpose here in joining the company was to bring some experience in getting product out. I've been through this a couple of times, and I know how difficult it can be to get a product
shipped,
to focus on a product that you can actually ship.
I mean, it's been 4 years.
Yeah. There's always more features you want to add, but you've got to narrow it down to just the essentials that you need, and you can always add more later.
Let's fast forward here. If we'll go forward a year, you have some products shipped. Is there a software play here, or is it pure make margin on a hardware speaker sale?
No, it's almost entirely a software play. What we're really promoting here is a platform. Mycroft is promoting a platform. What we have is, the smart speakers are sort of our the way we get people interested in the platform, because not very many people use voice interaction on their PCs or their laptops, right? The smart speaker is sort of a Trojan horse, if you will, that has kind of tricked people into thinking that voice interaction is new and desirable. But it's been around. The ability to do this has been around for a long time. It's just that finding this the right killer app to make it understandable to the user how voice interaction can be useful, took a while. So smart speakers are really just the entree into what is going to be basically ubiquitous voice interaction everywhere. And so that's what we provide, is a platform that enables OEMs to voice enable their products and not have to worry about any of the details of how to create, the multitude of AI systems that are required to recognize a person's voice, understand their intent.
I get the product. I think everyone listening gets the product. What I'm trying to get at is, my first question is, listen, Amazon doesn't have to make money on a speaker sale. They can ship every house in America a speaker for free because of the data play on the back end. You don't have that luxury. You cannot give away, because you don't have the cash on the cap table. You can't just give away
a subscription fee.
Yeah, but you can't give away. So it costs you $100 to make a speaker. You can't give away 1 million speakers. You don't have $100 million sitting in your bank, right?
Nope.
Amazon could. So the first question is, how do you get these speakers distribution? So, as quickly as possible, so that more people rely on your open source OEM, privacy friendly SDK that you're building or platform you're building.
Well, like I said, initially our distribution is basically to developers, because we want to get developer support for our community. But we have interest. We've been in talks with the big the big box retail chains, right? There are people who want to put a privacy respecting solution on their store shelves. We're talking about, Walmart and Target, and, these companies want this. And it's just not available. So once it's available, then we can start to talk to people about white labeling. That's going to be one initiative we have. We're also going to talk to OEMs about cost reduction versions of this. So distribution is really about finding the right partners. Okay, I don't want to get into being a hardware distribution company. I want to find the partners who are going to build our technology into their products and then distribute it. So that's really our
I think it's
distribution
a
plan.
challenge, though, right? I mean, that is
Oh yeah,
why Facebook, Amazon, Apple. I mean, that is why they have so much power here. They are distribution channels for both hardware and software, and then data collection, and then serving us back commerce, right, related to the data they're ingesting, voice data or other sorts of data. I just don't understand how you find distribution partners that can be more potent than those big four.
The 30% of the people who are interested in buying a smart speaker have not done so because of privacy concerns. There's just no way that Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google can even address that market. That's basically what that 30% of the market has said is, we don't trust these companies. We're just not going to play with them, right? So that market is just sitting there. And as big as the voice market is, just 30% of it is enormous, right? So we don't have any competition right now.
But maybe there's a reason for that.
It's a void.
Maybe that's exactly the issue. Maybe there's a reason there's no one else doing this.
I think it's a lack of imagination.
Oh, come on, Michael. This isn't sending someone to Mars. A home speaker that is not backed by one of the big four, and you're not sucking up data. You think that's some original idea that people just haven't imagined?
It's really hard to convince people to not do things the traditional way.
Well, you just said there's already 30% of people that want this.
Yeah, exactly. But finding a business, that wants to do this is a different thing, right? My background most recently was in video games, where we did subscription, and the video game industry has moved a lot of its business to the freemium model, where they just give away the product and then they charge for upgrades. And this is certainly a thing that happens in other businesses as well, but it's really not familiar to that many people, and people aren't comfortable with it because they don't understand it. There's a lot of reasons to not understand it as well. Like in video games, one of the most popular things that people like to buy is clothing. It has no impact on the game. It has no effect. It's just personal. It just allows you to express yourself.
Well, signaling is powerful.
That's counterintuitive. Right. And that is, I think, a thing that people don't really get. And by embracing the idea that we don't want to control the user, we want to empower the user, and part of that is respecting their privacy. And we do encourage them to opt in and let us use their data in limited ways to help train our machine learning algorithms. But by default, we respect their privacy. We do what they want. If they opt in, they can later opt out, and we just delete all their data, right? This is a system where the user is really in control, and people are afraid of doing that. And
are they afraid, or do they just realize the user is not going to use the thing most effectively? I mean, that's actually the thing I think you're going up against here. Is I think over time, as Amazon is able to deliver more and more value to customers with their voice data, more and more people will say, I know they're collecting my data, and I don't actually care because I'm getting so much value. I'm getting a device. I can go online and order and get something 2 minutes later to my doorstep. They can listen to our voice, and they know we're going on a vacation in 2 months. They give me a $300 discount on the cruise. Like, if you deliver enough value, people don't care about privacy, in my opinion.
There's just not an option. It's like cable TV, right? There was no option to cable TV. You could get a couple of channels over the air, and that was it. So you either had a couple of channels, network channels, or you'd pay some arbitrarily large sum from the one provider that you could get cable TV from. Now that people have realized that consumers want to have that choice, there's the market's expanding. We have better television than ever because people are willing to pay for exactly what they want. You can get a subscription to HBO or Disney.
Yeah, I'm saying
I
don't
CBS,
think people are going to want a
show.
speaker that can't add them value. I think they're going to a speaker, and they're okay giving up their privacy rights in exchange for faster delivery times, discounts on goods they love that Amazon learned about through audio data. Like, I think people actually want this. I think you're building something that, sure, people say they care about privacy, but if you can deliver enough value, people actually don't care about privacy, in my opinion.
I really don't think that there's an alternative. So I don't think they have a choice. Their choice is to either buy something that doesn't respect their privacy or don't buy anything at all, right? So that's the choice they have right now. But you look at Amazon. I use Amazon. I'm a Prime subscriber. I use it all the time. But in a lot of ways, I don't feel like I have a choice. We actually have a close advisor of ours who's starting up a competitor to Amazon, and and I wish them all the luck because I think that there's a place in the world for a federated system of companies that can deliver the exact same value that Amazon does, but without the mysterious backdoor. Who knows what's going on back there in their
But that's
algorithms.
how they deliver the data. That's how they deliver the value, is because they have so much data. That's how they make the system more efficient.
There's basically no vendor who's worked with Amazon that hasn't been screwed over by them. If Amazon finds a product that is making good money, they copy it and they sell it themselves. And yeah, you know what?
Which is great for the consumer. Which is great for the consumer because we probably get it cheaper now. Why is that bad for the consumer?
It's bad for the consumer because they don't really have a choice now, right?
Yes, they do. There's a cheaper option. Amazon crushes the competitor, brings in a cheaper option, and you rock and roll like they do with diapers. Well, listen, hey, look, we'll have to see what happens. You prove me wrong. Okay, make me look. This interview, I will look very, very silly 2 years from now if you have a million speakers to market. I will post this everywhere on all my socials. I was completely wrong. They killed it. Look at what they've done. Before we wrap up, so let's just talk again about software real quick. Let's say you've got 1 million devices out there. What is the software subscription look like? Are you charging developers to use it? And if so, what's the monthly price point?
So it's a completely open source system. It's free to developers. It's free to OEMs to integrate into their system. What we charge is the consumers for basically upgrades. So you get all the basic services, everything that you need to do your normal everyday activities on a smart speaker or a voice assistant. That comes for free. Anybody can make an account and it'll just work. In fact, on a Linux system, you can go download a snap install with one click right now and go test it out. It's free to make an account. Down the road, we'll provide premium features like custom voices, additional languages, different accents. I think that it's really important that the technology that we use today reflects our users. And as we move to a voice interface, this has it has the trappings of a personality. And I think people want to see their own values, their own culture reflected in the technology they use. And that's just, that's something that we're going to focus on. So those will be upgrade paths. There'll be premium features like access to sites that actually cost us money to use their API. Like if we're providing stock quotes or, real-time analytics in various, business markets or things like that, that'd be part of an upgrade. There's just so many options in terms of providing value add to the users above the basic level of subscription or the basic level of just having an account. It's a really open market, and I think that as video games have moved to to this freemium model, I think that the same thing is going to work really well for us.
Yeah, but video games have billions of users. You haven't shipped a speaker yet.
That's why I'm here. Mycroft hit a couple of stumbling blocks. I've got a track record of getting hardware out the door. I've got a track record of delivering software products. The first 3D hardware integration I did worked the first time. We didn't have to spin the chip. Then they bought our company. When City of Heroes launched in 2004, we told our publisher, okay, the game is ready. You can launch it tonight. And then we all went home. We didn't stay there like sweating at our computers to see if it was going to work. We knew it was going to work, and it did. We had a flawless launch. And we didn't have 30 developers staying up all night to make sure I know how to do this. I'm going to get a product out there that works. And then we'll see. We'll see if people really care about privacy. But I don't think we can test that until we offer them the choice.
When is the product going to be out? When can someone get it in their house? It's working. They can use it.
By this time next year, it'll be available for direct sales.
Michael, sounds like the perfect time for a follow-up interview. This time, though, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
Business book. I think it's called From Many One, the story of the Visa startup. How Visa got it started.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
No.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building Mycroft?
GitHub.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
About 5.
Okay. And situation, married, single, kids?
Married, twin boys, 5 years old.
Oh, wow. That's
They're
exciting.
awesome.
Very cool. How old are you?
I am 48.
48. Last question. What is something you wish you knew when you were 20, Michael?
That people aren't scary.
Guys, there you have it. Mycroft.ai. They want to introduce a home speaker that does not suck up all of your data and sell it to people and do bad things with it. They've raised $5 million to do this. They have speakers out. They have a lot of backers on Kickstarter. The goal is to ship this first speaker product by this time next year, so called August of 2021. Once that happens, the developer ecosystem can take off and they'll get consumers using this and then have a subscription model where they upsell things like custom voices or custom stock quotes via an API access that they've set up on the back end to monetize this thing full stretch. But ultimately, the play here is a speaker that is not owned by a data-sucking big tech company. Michael Lewis, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I really appreciate it.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.